Good morning. I am Dr. Armida Natividad, currently the head teacher of the Science Department of P. Bernardo High School. I am presenting the result of my study conducted in 2020 entitled The Impact of the Performance Management Practices on School Organizational Climate. Humans are considered as the success factor for any establishment. People set the motion for the day-to-day activities and long-term plan. They are in direct contact with clients and stakeholders. It is therefore important that their interests at work and their commitment to their organization are sustained. Two important concepts have been proven to preserve the professional commitment of workers: keeping a positive organizational climate and applying an effective performance management system. Organizational climate, of course, refers to the atmosphere that the employees perceive of their organization. It is the perception of their organization. It cannot be emphasized enough that a good and decent climate that encourages employees to remain loyal and committed are created by effective managers who implement strategies that remove obstacles along the way. Performance management system is a system that is designed to identify strategies to achieve the organization's goals. It comprises the practices, procedures, and rewards that contribute to the employee's perception of climate that influence their attitude at work. The tactful management of man is a very important and challenging job because of the dynamic nature of the people. Humans have different mental abilities, sentiments, and behavior that are subject to various influences. The Performance Management System, or PMS, is the tool through which managers communicate what is expected of the employee. The Results-Based Performance Management System, or RPMS, was developed in 2012 through the Civil Service Commission Memorandum Circular Number 6, the Strategic Performance Management System, the 2015 DepEd Order Number 2 on the guidelines on the establishment and implementation of the RPMS in DepEd, and DepEd Order Number 42, Series of 2017, the development and validation of the PPST. In the Philippines, the performance management system that we use is the RPMS, or the Results-Based Performance Management System. This aims to help teachers to improve delivery of quality basic education, and it ensures the delivery of quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating basic education in the country. This study is significant because it helps the school administrators create the ideal climate that will lead to a higher quality of work. It shows the perceptions of both the school administrators and the teachers on the practice of the present performance management system. This is vital to the understanding of the school climate that functions closely with the performance management, since it operates on areas such as leadership, appreciation, and recognition, and quality. And finally, this study fills the gap in the current literature, testing the possible relationship between performance management and organizational climate that contributes to positive or negative operation of the school. Statement of the problem. Number 1, how do the school heads practice performance management as perceived by themselves and the department heads and the teacher respondents in terms of the following management practices: performance planning, monitoring and coaching, evaluation, and performance rewarding. Number 2, is there a significant difference on the perceptions of the three groups of respondents on the school head's practice of performance management? Number 3, what is the level of organizational climate in the respondent schools as perceived by the three groups of respondents in terms of the following variables: staff development, human relations, innovation, school community value orientation? Number 4, is there a significant difference in the perceptions of the three groups of respondents on the level of their organizational climate? Number 5, is there a significant relationship between the school administrators' performance management practices and their organizational climate? Lastly, what performance management process may be developed based on identified managerial practices and organizational climate? Research ethics involves the validation of the paper, which went through two principals, 3 doctors of education, 1 PSDS, and 2 school department heads. Pilot testing was done in a Quezon City high school with 8 department heads, 2 master teachers, and 8 classroom teachers. Permits were procured from the offices of the NCR director and the SDOs of Quezon City and Manila. Questionnaires were floated in 40 schools in both SDOs with 280 respondents, which were retrieved after a week. Sources were properly cited. Originality and authenticity was done through an online plagiarism checker. Identities of the respondents and their responses were kept confidential. Methodology. The methodology used descriptive type with purposive sampling and quantitative method using survey questionnaires. Statistical treatment made use of the weighted mean, one-way analysis of variance or ANOVA, and Pearson R, which was used to determine the significant relationship between the school heads' performance management practices and their organizational climate. Findings. For performance planning, it was revealed that the school head, that the overall mean for the school heads was 3.72 with a descriptive rating of being done to a high extent. Department head managed to have an overall mean of 3.729, also with the same descriptive rating, while that of the group of teacher respondents had a weighted average of 3.42 or moderate extent. The result shows that although both the school heads and department heads believe that they conducted the performance planning to a high extent, the teachers believe that it's done to a moderate extent only. Planning gives the teachers the direction and goals that they need, and the lack thereof will lead to confusion, frustration, non-commitment, and wasted work that is not aligned with expectations. For monitoring and coaching, the school head had, both school head and department head had a descriptive rating of high extent, while the teacher obtained a moderate extent on that area. This denotes that the teachers wish to hear more feedback on how they are performing. For performance evaluation, both school heads and department heads and the teacher, all 3 groups had a descriptive rating of high extent. The finding implies that the school administrators manage well in performance evaluation, but need to adopt a joint problem-solving approach with the teacher's professional problems, and they should have a more extensive method of gauging competence. For performance rewarding, the data revealed that the rewards mechanism for good performance is in place, but could still be executed better if the performance-based incentive system or PBIS is linked to the process as an additional incentive in order to meet the development needs. The study showed that there is a significant difference on the perceptions of performance management practices. The discrepancy may be traced back to the misplaced focus of attention on how the teachers will adjust with the system rather than on the principle that it's just actually for the improvement of their job. For the staff development, the average weighted mean for both the school heads and the department heads showed very high rating, while the teachers gave a high rating. This implies that not all teachers feel that the school administrators support and encourage faculty development. In this era of educational reforms, the teacher should be given the professional development assistance that they need. For human relations, all three groups gave an overall mean that equates to a very high descriptive rating. This data suggests that in spite of some complaints from the teachers, the school administrators are still doing a good job in maintaining a healthy school climate in terms of human relations. For innovation, the teacher gave a high rating in contrast to the very high rating given by the school head and the department head. Overall, the three groups of respondents gave a very high rating on the organizational climate in terms of school community. This means that solidarity may not always be solid and fairness may not always be observed, but a healthy climate still exists in the school. For the values that are observed in the school community, the school head, the department heads, and the teachers all gave a very high rating on that area. The test of significant differences in the perceptions of the three groups of respondents on the level of organizational climate reveals that based on the result, the teachers expressed their desire to be a part of staff development program planning and that they need support and resources to participate in the formulation of innovative measures on the school problems. The study showed that there is a very high relationship between the performance management practices and the level of organizational climate existing in a school. Finally, the data showed that there is a very high relationship between the performance management practices and the organizational climate in schools. The study also revealed the weakness in the implementation of the performance management system in DepEd. The findings showed a significant gap in the perception of the performance management between the teacher respondents and the group of school heads and department heads. Teachers believe that the objectives, responsibilities, and key activities should be discussed at the beginning of the cycle. It should be emphasized that monitoring and coaching should be done during the entire period of the performance cycle. The teachers revealed that the school head should pay more attention on the frequency of monitoring and tracking of performance against the objective set. Mid-year review is usually ignored and evaluation happens only at the end of the year. The findings implied that the school administrators manage well in performance evaluation but need to adopt a joint problem-solving approach with the teachers' professional problems and should have a more extensive view of gauging competence. The teacher should be properly assisted to ensure that they are equipped with the proper skills, competence, and mindset and are likewise provided with the resources to address their problems in school. The teacher should be given the professional development assistance and the necessary resources to meet the high demands of globalization. And therefore, it is concluded that how the school administrator conducts the performance management system influences the school climate. If the performance management system promotes professional growth, decision-making, autonomy and innovation, and recognition for the work of each individual, then it will lead to a positive and healthy school climate. This is supported by the studies of Lumberton in 2019, which states that the best type of organizational climate is one that includes qualities such as high trust levels, a reasonable amount of autonomy in work tasks, high standards of fairness, and appropriate recognition for the work of each person. The study of Chokalingam in 2019 also supports this by saying that the management of an institution should ensure effective implementation of managerial policies to enhance the quality of organizational climate and performance management. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.